This is why you need banana fertilizer. If you're looking to grow extra fruity plants like tomatoes, peppers, or fruit trees or anything like that, that need a lot of potassium, then banana water is perfect for fertilizing those plants. This is also a great superfood for any plants throughout. It can be vegetables, fruits, flowers, anything. It's really good for all of your plants, especially when you put it in conjunction with nettle fertilizer and just regular rainwater. If you haven't seen last week's video, I'll link it in the description or up in the card now for nettle fertilizer. And if you do want to do this, but you're not currently at your growing space or allotment or wherever you're going to make the banana water, then you can just add this video to a watch later by pressing the save button below and adding it to your watch later playlist. And if you are new around here or you've just been returning but you haven't done so yet, remember to subscribe, and then a bell icon will pop up and you can press the icon to either select personalized notifications or all notifications for the channel. And of course, liking the video won't hurt as well. So for those of you who watched last week's video on nettle fertilizer, obviously we had to go and collect all the nettles from our growing space or the garden, wherever. But with bananas, you don't you don't go collecting bananas off the ground. So you've probably got store-bought bananas. If you've got a banana tree, then wow, fair enough. You can eat your own bananas. But yeah, you get your bananas, and you're going to want to go ahead and eat your bananas as you do, but save the banana peels. You can either just do one at a time, or you can save a bunch, but obviously they will start to smell after a little while because they're breaking down. But with today's example, I'm just going to use one banana peel because that's what most people are going to do. You're going to eat like maybe one banana a day or something, and then you can just do lots of separate containers and have loads of banana water fermenting at the same time. So you've got loads on the go. So I've got my banana peel from home. I just put it in a little bag because it was starting to smell a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get a container that will be watertight but not airtight. So I've got my container. I'm just using an empty milk carton. This is a 4 pint or 2.2 litre bottle. If you just use a similar size one to this, you can use bigger ones or smaller ones. It just depends mainly how much you fill it up. Obviously it can be a massive container, but you only fill it a little bit. And the reason I talk about how much you fill it up is obviously the more water you have, the more diluted your fertilizer will be. And obviously how many bananas you put in there as well. So what I could do is I could absolutely completely fill this thing with banana skins and then fill it with water, and you'll have really, really concentrated banana fertilizer after a couple of weeks. And then what you'll have to do is pour a little bit of this out into another container and then dilute it down with a lot of water. So if you were doing like we did in last week's video of the nettles, if you completely fill the container and then do the same with the water level, then you'll have to water it down about 10 to 1. Whereas if you're just going to put one banana in, if I just fill this up, then it's already diluted. So then it'll just be ready to go, basically. So that's what I'm going to do. If I did have a lot of banana skins, I would do the 10 to 1 method where I make it concentrate. But obviously I don't have that many banana skins to hand. It's not, one of those foods that you just eat a lot of. So if I angle the camera a little bit down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the lid of the milk carton and then get the banana skin by the top of it, and then I'm just going to feed it in there. Obviously I could just rip it up like that and put the pieces in separately. That will actually make it easier, so I'm going to do that. Put those into there like so. So now we've got our banana skin in there, and then we can fill this with water, preferably rainwater, because rainwater will have more nutrients and bacteria already in it, whereas tap water is more, washed and it's got chemicals in it. So it will speed up the fermentation process, only marginally, but it still does make a difference. So I'm going to grab some rainwater from the water butt just behind me over there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the top of the milk bottle under the tap and turn it on so water starts running out. And now that's filling up. So I'm going to fill it up around the usual amount that the milk would be in there. So just basically to the top of the bottle, just leave a little bit of area at the top so it doesn't overflow and spill out. There we go. So now I can get that out of there. So that's pretty much full. And then I'm not going to put the lid back on, because just like with the nettle fertilizer, whilst this ferments, it's going to produce a byproduct of gas. And then if that builds up in there, it can build up pressure, and then this cap can go poof, straight off, which we don't want. So we're just going to leave it unlidded like so. And now I'm just going to come into my potting shed and leave this over in the corner just for a couple of weeks for it to ferment down. And you'll typically know, well, in the case of a milk bottle, at least, because obviously it's clear, you can see the water is pretty clear in there. And over time, it will get darker and darker as this ferments. And obviously, if you put more bananas in there, it will become more concentrated. But I'm just going to pop that over there in the background. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to screw the lid on, but I'm just going to pop it over like that. And there's definitely space for air to escape as well with that. And another thing we can do, every couple of days, we can come over, and what I'll do is I'll screw the lid on, and then we'll just give it a little shake just to mix it around and help the fermentation process get kick-started. And then we'll just leave the lid back on top unscrewed like so. And now I'm going to show you an example of a finished product and what it can be used for as well. Okay, so here's one that we did a couple of weeks back. It's just got one banana peel, exactly the same as the other one. And as you can see, it's a lot darker in there. It's got like a browny yellow colour. And also when I smell it, oh, it smells like a mix between alcohol and soap. It's it's not a nice smell at all, but that is basically done. Now, the difference with this and the banana fertilizer is the banana will not be broken down, and it will still be in there solid. So what you could do, if you're really trying to break it down and get all of the nutrients out of it, you can then put this into a saucepan with the banana and boil it, and that will break all the long strands and the larger pieces up of the banana that are softened now, basically. And then it'll be closer to being fully broken down, but you'll still need to pick it out. You'd want to boil it for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then you let it cool down, obviously, back to cold temperature, and then you can use that on your plants. But I'd obviously water that down because it'd be a lot more concentrated, whereas with this, it's ready to go. So if I show that to you, I don't want to tip it. Okay, I'm gonna you know, I'll move the camera. As you can see in there, it's a lot darker in there. But yeah, this is really rich in potassium, which is great for fruity growth, like tomatoes, peppers, obviously fruit like banana itself, and obviously like fruit trees like apples, oranges, lemons, limes, all that sort of stuff. It's also great for grapevines as well. But then obviously you can still use it on other plants like potatoes, carrots, stuff like that, because obviously they do need a little bit of potassium as well. But as I explained in last week's video, what you can do is use it on a rota basis with the nettle fertilizer that I showed, and also rainwater. So on week 1, you could use nettle fertilizer, which is rich in nitrogen. On week 2, you can use banana fertilizer, which is rich in potassium. And then on week 3, you can use rainwater, which is just average rainwater. And then you can go back to week 1. And then if you've got a fourth fertilizer, or a third fertilizer, sorry, you can obviously do it on a 4-week rota, rather than a 3-week rota. But yeah, this is a great way to make plant superfood at home for absolutely no cost at all, other than the bananas. So hopefully you learned something new, or if you just enjoyed it, then please leave a like and comment below what you think I should do a tutorial on next. Obviously, these are things that I've just learned along the way. As many of you may know, I just have an allotment series on my YouTube channel where I just make lots of mistakes, and then I learn from you guys in the comments. So basically, this is just things that I've learned, so there may be slight discrepancies, but hopefully I've explained it as best as I can. And if you are new around here and you haven't seen on my channel, there is an allotment from the beginning series which shows all of my progress from the beginning of getting my allotment up until now, which recently I put up that greenhouse. There's a plane flying overhead, as you can see. Yeah, and recently, just last week actually, the episode where we put the greenhouse and finished that one's up. So if you want to watch that, then you can check that out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.